Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. In today's video, we'll be doing the next installment of the PJ Scavenger Hunt 2021. And if that is of interest to you, please stay tuned. Okay, so this is what we did last week together. These were the prompts: animal, color, journal, square, and star. This is what I came up with. And what we're going to be working on today are these prompts here. So summer, blue, shape, washi, and ink. And so in some way, shape, or fashion, I'm going to incorporate all of these in whatever interpretation I want in this here. Now I decided that I was going to use this piece of paper here. This is some watercolor paper that I had cut down for a previous project a few months ago, and I think it'll just be easier if I take it off. I know that there is a glare on this, so let me put this to the side. Oh, it will help if I know what we're working on. So I'm just going to prop this up right here off camera, so it's not in the way, but I can still see it. Now, the reason why I wanted to use this paper is because I wanted to use these watercolor pencils. So as you guys know, I started this challenge based on an inspiration I got from Danny Buttons. She's from the coloring book community, and I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to just go and use the stuff that I have? And so from week to week, I'm just going to use a variety of different mediums and products, and maybe even mixtures of those things, just because I have them, and why not? So I think we're going to start with the shape. I don't have a plan, just FYI. That should not be a surprise to any of you guys. You know what? No, we're not going to start with the shape. We'll just start. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have ever used watercolor pencils. These are from Faber-Castell, and I like them a lot. They're highly pigmented just off the bat like that, so if you wanted to use them as a pencil, you absolutely could. There's names on this, so this is raw umber. I did pick this setup from Walmart.com. My local Walmarts don't have. And because I've been playing around with them this month, I do realize I want more. I want more than the 24 set that I currently have. So yeah, I'll need to save up, because these, I know that there are watercolor pencils that are probably more inexpensive, but I know how these work. And so I'd rather save up a little for pencils that I know work versus trying to test out more bargain brands, buy a few of those and still end up spending over the span of trying to get something cheaper more money. So I'm not really talking through this process. I'm just kind of winging it. But I live in Hawaii, and summer makes me think of Hawaii. So we've got that. Now, when I purchased this set, I didn't know, but it came with this pencil free. So this is an Albrecht Dürer Magnus pencil, and look how much thicker that is. I'm not gonna lie. I love using this pencil just because, one, it was free, and two, it was free. And it's so big and beautiful. And so we'll just do some water. And you're probably like, so where's the watercolor pencil coming in? Guys, you don't even know. You don't even know. We're just gonna do some layers. Okay, so we've got summer, we've got blue, we certainly have some shapes. We'll need to add some ink. We'll need to do something with washi. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take just a thin brush. I've got some water here. Got a paper towel here. I'm just going to wet this, but I'm not going to have it soaking. Let me add a little bit more green there. Now, disclaimer, I've worked with these pencils in my coloring books, but I've actually never worked on it on actual watercolor paper, so I don't know how it's going to move. So let's find that out together, shall we? All right, so wet, but not too damp. And then you just kind of, you move the product. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that works so nicely, guys. Look, we're doing stuff. Okay. And I'm being aware of where I'm putting the water, because I don't necessarily want to muddy up the blue and the brown, but I purposely use various colors just to give this a little bit of a different tone. And that washes out really nicely. Okay, let's look what the green does. Now I believe if I used more water on the brush, I could actually completely get rid of the sharp line here, but I actually like how that looks. So we're gonna leave that. Again, just dabbing so that the brush is damp but not soaked. It certainly could be, but I want to retain more pigment on the page. So that's why I want to keep it that consistency. Plus, again, like I said, I've only ever used this in coloring books, and it's not made for water mediums generally, so I've learned to just be very judicious with my water usage so that the paper doesn't warp too much. I can bring that out a little. Just kind of feather that in so it's not such a harsh stump. And yeah, that's supposed to be a palm tree. I've seen them, I live here, so I know what they look like. And they look like that. I mean, do you live in a tropical island? You don't know. So belligerent. Okay, so now we're going to get into the blues. And I know there were at least 2 different blues we put in here. Oh, and that looks so nice. The way that I did the island, it looks like a brown whale with a weird tail. No. I'm not mad at it though. I'm not mad at it. Bring this down a little bit. And because there's paint, I can do a little bit of a wash coming down without having to add in more pigment. Just sort of fade that out. And since I don't plan to do a lot down here, let me show you what it would look like if I don't do that much dabbing. You can actually really wash out the color. Because it's watercolor paper, even though there is a lot of water medium on here, it's not pilling. You'll notice that if you're using non-watercolor paper, that it'll start tearing at the paper, and you don't really want that. So yeah, it just softens it up a little bit more. I didn't move it a lot, but it moved it more than I did up here. Okay. Well, it's actually relatively dry. Let's do a little sun up here. And just add some different tones, mostly because we can than anything else. And because we're putting a lot of pigment down and not using a lot of water, we should get a nice color payoff. And the reason why I want more is I'm not really good at mixing colors. And so for instance, this doesn't have a pink or a cream, and I'm pretty sure I could do things to get those colors, but yeah, I don't know how. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're actually done with the watercolor, I believe. Yeah, because we just have washi and ink to go. We're just going to add a little bit more color. That's too light. Let's see if this shows up. Definitely shows up more, because you can go with pencil over top of it. Give a little bit more definition to our palm tree. And then maybe we should see if we can put some green up here. We might have just ruined it, but we'll never know unless we try. Because it just looks like a funky whale, like a baked whale. That's not a cute look. And then we'll water that out. We'll leave that so that we keep the definition, but we'll water this out. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Just to make it look less of a strange sea creature. Huh. I like that. Okay, so that part's relatively wet, so as much as possible, I'm going to want to avoid that part. But I guess that will work. Try not to smudge anything. Actually, I can use this for a straight edge. Because I'm looking at the lines here. I don't know how clear you guys can see it because it's light paper and then clear on top, but I can use that to get a straight line. And I'm trying to go by memory, and that doesn't always work well for me. But we'll do like that. Again, trying to avoid that part right there. Just going to eyeball it. Not trying to be too precious about this. Okay. And this one, just square off. And this actually I want to have come down a little bit more. No, I think it'll be fine. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm trying to do, but I've got something very specific in mind. And again, no measuring. We're just doing stuff. Okay, it goes a little bit off, but that's fine. So we need washi and we need ink. I've got this washi right here. and it'll fit. We'll just, it's a little thick for what I want to use it for. So maybe we'll try to be clever. Or not. And rip it. Okay. So we'll kind of hide our mistake there, or at least make it less noticeable. I'll just put that to the side. Because really what I'm trying to accomplish is a Polaroid. Oh, we need to do fancy birds. That's as fancy as my birds get. And then that would definitely count towards ink. But let's do... Wish you were here. XOXO. XOXO. And that's it. We've got everything. So let me put this back on the discs, and then I'll show you side by side, because I know there's a lot of empty space here, and I don't know, I kind of like it like that. I mean, I could do a grid. Well, let's just do that. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but I just want to take away some of the space. Oh, is everything dry? Yes, it is. That could have been bad. So let's go with this blue here, which is 403. It's kind of tropical. And this green here. And it's very easy. I'm actually going to use this tip right here. And I'm just going to do some lines. Not really going to measure, because I just want to take away some of the dead space without having to do too much fuss. And I could freehand this, and if I were using a dot grid, I certainly would, but because that way I can get a reasonably straight line. This, not so much. So we'll use a ruler. Oh, that was a bad idea. I can't see. Okay. I think I will do one more line very close to it. And for some of you, this might be driving you batty, the lack of a plan. But I think that has served us well so far. I'm not gonna lie, I really love that little picture. So we're just gonna lean into the who needs a stinking plan when you've got a ruler and you've got pens. And this is going to serve as the ink, but then so would that. That's pretty, you guys. Look at that. So simple to do. And you can do this in your planner. So if one week you're just not feeling your stickers, or maybe you don't have a lot of stickers, maybe you're not from the Happy Planner world where stickers are life, it's really easy to put decoration on the page if you just don't worry about it. Because I know the fear is, well, I'm going to mess it up. But I mean, is that so horrible? I've never thought so. And it's not that I love looking at janky stuff. It's just, I'll learn for next time what works and what doesn't. this is absolutely working, guys. I think the double lines is really helping. But I'm actually going to introduce one more color. That's where it might go downhill, but we won't know until we try. And this no measuring thing actually makes this go by kind of quickly. Okay, so I want to introduce a pink, but that's actually not on either page because this is the other page. Do we care about that though? Honestly, do we care? Maybe we'll use this. This is a twin tone. Yeah, let's do that. I'm only gonna do. Oh, I'm not gonna go. Am I gonna go crazy and do a cross like that? Oh, why not? Oh, this is where it can go horribly wrong, guys. I think this is where it's going to go horribly wrong. Because that's where it makes a difference, where your lines are straight and evenly spaced. I know, that's not bad though. We're not going to do anything on the sides here and just keep going. This one seems to be about 1 inch apart, approximately. I mean, I guess the moral of the story here is if you mess up, just keep doing the same thing and it's fine. Because now I feel like we need to do another line the other way. So that's what we're going to do. It's another twin tone pen. Because, I mean, if I were the kind of girl that leaves well enough alone, I would have stopped with the Polaroid picture. Just make sure we at least try to maintain the angle. Because before I was trying to line in an intersection, but I mean, it was time for that. And I think we can actually do like that. That looks very tropical, guys. Not gonna lie. It looks very tropical indeed. All right, let me clean this up and I'll bring you guys right back. All right, guys, so that is the third list done. We did summer, which is tropical island. That's my interpretation of it. We certainly have blue. We have all kinds of shapes here. We have our washi element, although honestly, I could have just freehanded that, but already had put the watercolors away and I didn't feel like using them again. And then we can use this as the ink, or we can use that as the ink. It doesn't have to be permanent ink. It can be water-based ink. It could be a bottle of ink. It can be whatever your interpretation is. So for the next week of prompts, which is the fourth list, yeah, no, there's nothing there. What I had done was last year, 2020, I had bought one of these skinny mini planners because it was really cheap on Zulily. I thought I had a usage for it. Didn't end up liking it. It's just too small for my needs. So this is actually the notes page from here. And so I just cut off the disc area. So the prompts for list number 4 is vehicle, office supply, vintage, flower, and date. So this video will go up on June 5th. The next time you see me for the scavenger hunt, I will be incorporating that on whatever paper I choose for that date. But I wanted to talk a little bit about this because, again, the interpretation is absolutely up to you. So If for vehicle you wanted to use a car, a truck, a van, a skateboard, roller skates, it's basically anything that can transport you. Flying saucer, whatever your interpretation of vehicle is. Again, there's no scavenger hunt police. No one's going to knock on your door and say, oh, sorry, you did that wrong. I promise you. And if they do, call 911. They're not supposed to be there. Office supply, I specifically use a stapler because you can have pictures of office supplies. You could use office supplies by way of tape, by way of staples, by way of Post-it notes. Again, the sky is the limit. Your interpretation. Vintage, I'm gonna call it as anything 20 years or older. And I say that because Etsy considers anything vintage as 20 years or older. Now you cannot know how much my soul cried the very first time I was listening to the oldies channel, you know, like my parents' music, and then an 80s song came up. Guys, I had a bit of a crisis that day because I was a teenager in the 80s and there is no way that is oldies music. I mean, I know from a date point, that's like 30 years ago, but whatever. You're so rude. Oh my God, you're gonna make me cry. A flower can be your interpretation. Now, whether you draw a flower, whether you use a flower sticker, whether you show a dead flower, whether you show the stem of a flower and you do the whole Morticia Addams thing, again, guys, this is up to you. And then for date, you could pull a Miss Congeniality, where that one girl, when they asked her during the question section, what's your perfect date? And she had chosen April because it's not too hot, or she had chosen like April 16th because it's not too hot, so you can wear a light sweater, but it's not too cold, so you don't have to wear too much. You can go outdoors. And I'm thinking they were thinking, what's your perfect date? Like, would you go out to the movies? Would you, go hiking if you're that kind of person? But for date, for this, can be whatever you want. Maybe you want to put something on here that means lunch date, or a brunch date, or a girls' date out, or a date with your significant other. Maybe you've got one of those date stickers, and I'm talking like the fruit, the thing that's like a fake. Maybe you got one of those. Whatever date means to you, put it down. Again, there's no police. I promise you. No one's going to come after you if they don't agree with what you have chosen. This is your scavenger hunt, and you use what you want and you interpret it how you will. Okay? Except for the vintage, 20 years or older. So that would be, 2000. Jeez Louise. Well, if you can find things from the olden times of the early 2000s or earlier, because I know for some people, vintage is the 50s, vintage is the 20s, vintage is 2001. Oh, it just hurts my soul. I would love to know what you guys thought of this. Now, they are artist quality pencils, I believe. And so if I were an artist, I'm sure I could have done better if I had taken longer, if I had mapped it out, whatever. But I am very pleased on how this looks. It looks very summery to me. You guys saw there was no pencil marks. We just did that together and we just kind of dove right in because, why not? This is supposed to be for fun, and this is definitely some playtime for me. All right, guys, well, that's it for me for now. And as always, aloha.